Zipp 101 wheels. Basically, like putting tank tracks on your gravel bike.
My name's Guy Kestevan. I've been a professional biking kit reviewer for nearly 25 years, and today is my live ride review of Zipp's new 101 super radical gravel wheel set.
So, Zipp 101. Let's get one thing straight right away. These are not your standard gravel wheels, and for standard gravel riding, they're no use at all. They're way too heavy. They're not even aero. They've got totally flat front face, pretty much. And with a 27mm internal, they're only 35mm tyre or larger, so no use on a all-road bike either. For all your normal gravel needs, if you want to go Zipp, get the 303 Firecrest, which I've been running for the past year on this Stig, and which have been absolutely brilliant. But if you're wanting your gravel bike to do more silly MTB style stuff like this, these things are insane. But to sum it up in one way, it's like putting tank tracks on your gravel bike. So how have they managed that with, I mean, all right, I'm using the Rudy fork as well here, but how has Zipp managed that with just a wheel set? And I've gone through all the tech statically in a video which I'll clip up top there, but the main thing is Moto-inspired ankle compliance. So what the hell is that? And ankle compliance means that because it's a completely, well, almost completely flat sheet of carbon, not a box section, the rim can twist and pivot axially around the spoke heads. So the whole rim can kind of snake through stuff, even though it's still laterally really stiff because of the width of it. It can deflect and move around all over the place, which means the bike, as you can see, just stays totally on track. All these roots and rocks that would normally be firing it off all over the place, it's just rolling straight through them, laser guided right through. And because it's so wide, it means you can run the pressure super low as well. So the whole package is just ridiculous in terms of tracking and what you can just ride straight at and straight through, and just the increased kind of ground hugging grip you get from these wheels in particular. And the fact they're so wide at 27mm internal means you can run these G40 Zipp tyres 30 psi or under. I mean, that's the sweet spot according to RockShox, but just the grip is ridiculous. It's awesome. And then even when it gets pretty rocky like this, off it goes. Just the speed sustain is ridiculous. It just feels like a narrow barred hardtail now, which I guess is kind of what it is. But then when you sit down, that air spring in the suspension really makes a difference to the overall ride. It actually helps you pedal, I found, because it just stops you being bounced around in the saddle. And to put that in context with the rest of this GX Explorer group, that extra wheel weight means this whole Santa Cruz Stig now weighs 10.6 kilos. That's actually 400 grams lighter than that Santa Cruz Blur that Dave in front is riding. But as you can see, the grip it gives you and just the confidence on the rough stuff, even with a 42, 44 bottom gear, this thing climbs technical stuff like a beaut, especially with those Zipp G40 tyres. It's actually a stickier compound and a Minion DHF. So basically, if you're thinking, yeah, but you've just turned a gravel bike into a mountain bike. Yeah, I have, and it's ace, absolutely no doubt. That Blur is a far more capable bike in terms of the terrain it can tackle. I mean, even a 100mm hardtail would be than this bike. But what is amazing is what this Explorer group lets you tackle on a gravel bike, cross bike, whatever you want to call it. And kind of, so yeah, well, you would be better off from scratch if you just wanted maximum control and tough terrain speed, getting a proper XC bike, which wouldn't be twitching around over all of this stuff, wouldn't be quite as much of a head think. Yeah, of course, XC bike all the way. But counter to that, XC bikes been around for decades. They're pretty much extinct in terms of people buying them. But in contrast, gravel, whether it's because it's sharp marketing or just whether there's something inherently fun about a bike that's designed to explore, and that's how it's being sold, and people are finding out that the challenge of riding them off-road is actually a really good crack. They're popular and they're getting people out who wouldn't have bothered, whether it's roadies, hipsters, whoever, bike packers. They're a hit and they're getting people out doing cross-country biking, whether it's mountain biking or gravel biking, whatever one you call it. It's bloody great that slapping a drop bar on an early 90s mountain bike, if you want to call it that, is getting loads more people out to explore the world on bikes. So I really don't care how you categorise it. As far as I'm concerned, it's a very good thing. And while this might be the heaviest this stick has ever been by a long chalk, it's also the most fun it's ever been by far. And if you want, you've still got the capability to stick that 460 gram rigid fork back on, put your Firecrests on, and you've got 7 kilo road bike if you want. But do you know what? I thought I'd take these Rudies off. I thought these wheels would be really, really slow. Because to be honest, I wasn't a massive fan of the 3.0 motos. I thought they killed the pedalling vibe too much on a mountain bike, but just loving the way they flow and grip and carry speed through silly stuff like this while I'm on the drops. So much fun. I really better stop and wait for Dave on the blur, but I don't want to stop the vibe. And just prove a point that it's not just the fork that's making the difference, although that is, you know, unsurprisingly a big part of it. I've actually just switched it off there as we're reaching down for the lockout, and it's still obvious how compliant these wheels are over roots and ruts, and how much they really add to the grip and speed sustain of this bike. Yeah, Dave's coming. I can get a crack on. It's just a license to get silly. I mean, normally this kind of rooty stuff, this is where you'd be fussy and twanging all over the place on a bike like this, because you've not got the steering leverage, anything like that to get you through, because, you know, no worry about catching these 440mm bars in that 740mm tree gap straight through. But also, you see the way it just went straight through that horrible rooty spread here. Just ridiculous. I mean, all right, these are probably the grippiest tyres I could be running in terms of compound, and the pressure's low, but like I say, these tyres genuinely like caterpillar tracks when it comes to just letting your bike crawl, grip and charge through everything that you'd normally be absolutely in bits on a gravel bike. They've properly done something special here. Properly love these. Yes, yes, Zipp. Yeah, these are properly a license to ill. So yeah, there's no doubt at all that Explorer totally blurs, excuse the pun, the line between mountain bike and gravel bike, but then isn't that what a lot of gravel events and gravel riders are doing? So if you come into the world through drop bars, or alternatively, if you're a downhiller who doesn't want to be seen dead on an XC bike, then, you know, look at all the edits of people going rad on gravel bikes that get great views because there's something fun about it. Insolent, rude even. Nobody's got millions of hits going rad on a cross-country hardtail, even though it'd be easier to do it. So, stuff your genres up your curly bars, or your flat bars, or your, oh, I remember it were better in the 90s. To it. Sorry, parental guidance. Just enjoy this for what it is. A way of making your bike ridiculously good fun and letting you get away with murder on a format that's previously been pretty uptight. I'm total fan of Explorer. And then when you do get back onto gravel, pop that seat post up. Oh, Fox already in lockout, I forgot about that. That proves how good these Zipp wheels are. Is it slower? Certainly doesn't feel slow. It feels like even these little vibrations aren't getting through to me as much as they would on a stiffer setup. I don't feel like I'm being punished. Wrists are feeling great, soles of my feet not getting hammered, and not noticed any drop in my segment speeds either, even though most of the time I've been riding this bike with these wheels on, I've had a broken rib, and I still have today, and I'm still gassing on, and I'm still having a ball on a bike that has no right to be anywhere near these kind of trails. And that's kind of sums up Explorer for me. It's just like I say, I'll say it again, all these 101s, this Rudy fork, G40 tyres, reverb axis dropper, it's a proper license to get Larry on your gravel bike. Just properly explore your limits, right up to and beyond maybe what you'd even consider doing on a cross-country bike, but without having to worry about shaving your legs and putting a heart rate monitor on a skin suit just to look like you belong, because that hasn't attracted anybody onto XC bikes in 30 years. But gravel is a wonderfully popular and increasingly inclusive world, so bring it, bring on the Explorer. They've just buggered off again, because as soon as he hits the gravel, skinnier tyres, I mean, yeah, they're not light, those wheels, they take some accelerating, but tyres are a lot lighter. Do you know what, they're not even light. I don't know why I'm saying this. That bike makes no sense. That Stig now with all that kit on it, it should be dead rubbish, compromised, everything, but it's not. It's just a huge amount of fun. Throw out your arithmetic and your expectations and opinions, just enjoy it. All right, you know, I can't imagine people, I'm going to say it, it's a downcountry gravel bike. That's what that is now. As much as you hated downcountry XC bikes, we've made a downcountry gravel bike, and it's bloody ace. So suck it up, haters. And the biggest difference is you just don't have to worry about roots and rocks anymore. Normally your arch enemy on a gravel bike, they're what knock you all over the place, but now, I mean, I can't get over how well these wheels cope with this kind of terrain. Their ability to just flow and sustain speed and completely offset that weight penalty and just let you get away with murder in terms of lines you'd never attack on a 40mm tyre normally. It's just outrageous. Zipp 101 is the way to conquer every gravel room 101. I mean, yeah, it's lighter than that Stig, but it's significantly, I mean, like over 1.5 kilos heavier than that Specialized chisel project build I've been riding, but there's just something so insolent and so ridiculous about rallying a drop bar bike through the woods and still having this much control and fun. It's just ace. Bloody love this Stig now. Absolute goon bike. And if I was taking it for a long haul, obviously that same grip, comfort and compliance from these wheels and this fork, and being able to drop the seat post would mean less fatigue in the long run as well, and less chance of going over the bars with your bike packing bags. So yeah, bottom line is these wheels make absolutely no sense in terms of aerodynamics, weight or anything like that compared to a Zipp Firecrest. But if you're daft enough to ride a gravel bike as hard as a mountain bike, these are just brilliant.
So there you go. In terms of pretty much any number or comparative data you'd normally throw at a wheel set test, these Zipp 101s are absolutely rubbish. But in terms of ride quality and what they release in this bike or any gravel bike you'd stick them into, unbelievable, genuinely unbelievable. Don't seem to be any slower. Even on like the roads, well, they are a little slower on road sections. They're a lot heavier. They're not as aero, but minute you get slightly off road, they are flying. And when it comes to chasing through mountain bike style terrain, nuts, absolutely nuts. I should probably do some like slow-mo footage, try and capture them twisting and turning. But for now, you're just gonna have to believe me. The way these tank track through rough sections is absolutely outstanding. So massive thanks to Zipp for lending me the latest 101 wheels, and to SRAM in general for sending me the Stig with the full Explorer kit on it. Massive thanks to Giro Cycling UK for sponsoring the channel. Thanks to PEs, thanks to Crud, thanks to DMR as well. Thanks to Dave for coming out on me. That's him you can hear shouting in the background because he's lost, because I've left him that far behind. Sorry. And yeah, massive thanks to my Patreon supporters who subscribe on a monthly basis, and they get exclusive, extended and early edits which are ad-free as a thank you. So if you really like what I'm doing on the channel, please consider sponsoring me on a monthly basis through Patreon. Really helps with how much time I can put aside for tests like this. But anyway, click for notifications to find my next video, click for subscriptions, give it a thumbs up, like. Have a fight with me in the comments about things like ridiculous things I've said, like down country gravel or down gravel, or the fact that somehow this road bike that's way heavier than my mountain bike is more fun off road. Any of that, God, people can go absolutely nuts at me on this one, but I don't care. Bloody love riding this bike now. But yeah, have a proper go at me in the comments if you like. I'm looking forward to a lively debate. But for now, I'm Guy Kestevan on Guy Kes TV, mostly talking about the Zipp 101 wheels, but also the RockShox Rudy fork, the Reverb Axis Explorer post, and the SRAM Rival Axis Explorer group set on the SRAM, on the Santa Cruz Stigmata. All of which bits you can find separate videos for, and I'll try and link as many as I can through the end, or stick the URLs in the comments below. But thanks for your time. I'm out of here.